I've spoken with David Nevogt about tracking time and automating payment for remote teams. He said that these are some of the biggest burdens of working with remote outsourcing providers, and he is solving that with his platform, Hubstaff. We also talked about Hubstaff Talent, which is a free marketplace that brings together clients, agencies, contractors, freelancers to work together. All in all, a great conversation with a business owner that has a lot of experience with outsourcing, but he doesn't like the term outsourcing. He would rather use remote teams. Enjoy the conversation. Hello, Anderson Oliveira here. This is another interview for the Outsourcing Podcast, where we talk to specialists, to business owners, to experts in the outsourcing space, and all the tools as well that can be used for outsourcers. And today, it's my pleasure to be talking to David Nevogt. He is the co-founder of Hubstaff, which is the premier time tracking tool for remote teams. David, thank you very much for being here.
Yeah, thank you for having me. Appreciate it.
David, that's the first time that I interview for this podcast a co-founder of one of the many tools that can be used by outsourcing, professionals, not only from a client side, but from a provider side as well. So it's a different type of interview for me. So let's talk a little bit about Hubstaff. So share with me a little bit of what it is, what is not Hubstaff.
I've always had a remote team. I've always had ever since 2002. So long time. And, so I don't know, 15 years now, I guess. So it was born out of my own pains of outsourcing and having people from all over, the US, just not understanding what's going on, trying to make the business profitable. And so it was born out of my own pain, but basically it's time tracking with screenshots and activity levels and, speeds up communication, allows teams to collaborate, assign a task. We integrate with a bunch of, project management softwares like Trello, Asana, that kind of thing. And it's all about, assigning priorities and making sure those priorities get done, understanding which team members are your best team members, and that, gives you peace of mind as a manager.
Got it. So here's when I think about tools like, like time tracking tools, and then we go and I cannot not do a parallel with tools used by, Upwork, for instance, to monitor what people are doing, to track, what people are doing. I usually think of that feeling of having the big brother, monitoring you and looking over your shoulder. I know it's way beyond that. It's much more than that. But there's that component. How do you help people to, I guess, see beyond that big brother type of situation?
Yeah. Well, I don't think that no good manager has time to sit around and look at all the screenshots. That's not what we're doing. The screenshots are there. Like, for instance, I use them in this way. If we're working with a designer, we're having our blog redesigned. I log in to Hubstaff and I can see that blog design unfold in real time without having to email the designer, wait for a response. When if I see things going in the wrong direction, I can intervene quickly. I save money in that way, and the project gets done faster in that way. So I don't have time to sit around and look. We have a team of 30 people. I mean, and our customers do too. It's not for that reason. It's just, it does help you sleep a little better at night, knowing that you can go in there and see what's going on if you want. But I mean, I spend less than 60 seconds per month doing that.
Got it. And again, I was just trying to play a little bit of devil's advocate here, because I'll give an example. Just yesterday, I was not using Hubstaff, not yet at least, but I saw a huge benefit of having a tool that would monitor what a contractor of mine was doing. Because yes, and I'm talking about yesterday, I saw that they were going on the wrong direction on what they were doing, and I could say right away, I could just drop them in, hey guys, you are doing something that is not exactly what I was asking. I would like you guys to move this direction here. So again, you hit the nail there. It's not just about, make sure that they are working, but it's about, are they following the right direction?
Yeah, most contractors are not going to be. Most contractors, running a remote team is different than running an office environment. It's not like you can just, print something out, or somebody can. You're in the office with somebody all day long, and you can just say, "Hey, Dave, come here and check out this design real quick. Just make sure I'm on the right page." You can do a lot of that in Slack. You can take a screenshot and say, "Hey, I want to make sure that I'm on the same page here." But the problem is most contractors aren't going to do that. And so, and it's not their fault. It's just the way that things work. It's just the way it is. It's not that, most contractors are not good about giving you feedback. I'm not going to be sitting around asking for feedback all day long from I got my own work to do. So this allows me to do my work on my own time, especially when you're in different time zones. You've got somebody in the Philippines, you've got somebody in, you've got somebody in Mexico, you've got somebody in India, you've got somebody in the US, you've got some, and these people all need to communicate and collaborate. If you're in the Philippines and you're in the US, you have an overlap of probably 1 hour per day of work time. So it's very hard to get that feedback from that person. It's hard to talk to that person in the first place. So it's just about communication, better communication, and automatic communication.
Going beyond just the tracking mechanism, let's talk a little bit about the payment side of things. So that relationship, the contractor worked for a few hours and he needs to be paid. He or she needs to be paid. How does that happen within the platform?
So we don't sit in the middle of the transaction. All we do is take your account information and you hook up your account. You give us access to the account. Meaning, you authorize a VO, author, whatever. And then all we do is trigger the payment from you to the contractor. That's all it is. So it's just, you have to have, a PayPal account, your contractor has a PayPal account, and then you can make the payment to the contractor. So we just, they work for, let's say they're getting paid $10 an hour. They work 4 hours. You transfer 40 hours. You set you could set it weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, fixed. It can be a fixed payment, whatever you want to do.
Got it. So let's say if we establish the terms of, this is my hourly rate, every so often it will calculate how long I have worked, and it will deduct from the client and give, send the money straight to the provider. Is that the way?
Yeah, that's it. Yep.
Got it. Okay. So that's the payment side. Now, there's another aspect of Hubstaff that I really liked is the integrations that can happen between Hubstaff and project management platforms like Asana, like Basecamp, like Trello as well. So can you expand a little bit on that side as well?
Yeah, so all we do there is like, if you have a team member, you assign a task to them in Basecamp, for example, or to do in Basecamp. And that then will show up on the desktop timer and they can see it with the description of what to do, track time to it. And then we upload that time, we sync that time over to Basecamp so you can see how much time was spent on that project or that task.
Got it.
It shows up in all the reports, and so what we do, the main reason that we do, where people really use that, our number one client is like agencies and people that are using human capital as their product. Or, we have a lot of people that have businesses, affiliate businesses, or e-commerce sites, software companies, that kind of thing. But the majority of them, our number one client are people like agencies, software development houses, digital marketing companies, that kind of thing. And what happens is, if they have, 20 people working for them, they've got different projects, different clients, different billing rates, all of that. So we help automate all that so they can get accurate billing to their clients and reduce all that admin. And also they can pay their employees accurate rates based on, all of that combined with actually knowing, hey, this person is actually doing a good job for me and working hard.
Got it. So what I find interesting as well, David, is that the platform not only handles the transaction between the agency and the contractors, but
Right.
from the agency's clients as well. Is that correct? Is that what I get from you?
You can use that. You can use it for that as well. But the main thing is we do have invoicing, so you can invoice for the time automatically. You can send an invoice to whoever you want. So we have that capability. Or you can invite your clients in so they can see the work unfold in real time as well. But most of the agencies aren't doing that. Most of the agencies are just using it for their internal productivity and an admin.
Okay. So let me explore a little bit your outsourcing experience there. Can you just highlight a few of the, I would say, based on your experience, a few of the pitfalls, the roadblocks that an agency has to go through when trying to hire a contractor, and they may have not done that before. So again, what are some of the pitfalls that they should be on the lookout for?
Oh, there's a lot of them. I mean, it depends on, there's a ton of things that could go wrong. There's a lot of things that go right. I've got a process that would go, I guess I'll just dive into it a little bit. Basically, we work pretty hard to make sure that we're getting the right people. A lot of it's done up front. So we get references. We do a lot of the stuff that you should be doing, when you hire an office employee, because when we hire somebody, it's really a pain to have somebody onboarded and all that, and then to have it not work out. So you're looking for character flaws. You're looking for a lot of different things. You're making sure that they're responsive, in terms of timing. You're making sure that they have, good written and oral communication. All that stuff needs to happen. And then we usually put somebody on a trial for 30 days. So you put somebody on a trial for 30 days, you make it known up front, hey, this is a trial. We're going to work together for 30 days to see how it works out. And then after that, what we do, if they pass that, and that also makes it very much easier to kind of drop it if it doesn't work out for whatever reason. If it does work out, we basically just unleash it and say, all right, work as many hours as you want.
Got it. Okay, great. Let me ask you that. Do you eat your own dog food?
Oh yeah, for sure.
Tell a little bit about that. I guess that all your remote workers. By the way, let me ask you a little bit deeper on that point. How many, more or less, just roughly, remote workers do you manage in your business via your own tool?
30.
Spread all over the globe?
Yeah, we've got people all over, a lot in Eastern Europe, India, few in India, really, I guess all over Europe, really. We've got, 2 in Canada, we've got about 7 in the US, we've got, and even in the US, they're in California, Florida, Indianapolis, Chicago, no one, and my co-founder and I work, we live 8 minutes apart, and we see each other, once a week, maybe.
Got it.
For 2 hours,
Okay, great.
Yeah.
And those 30 people that work remotely, who are they? Are they designers, developers? Tell me a little bit about the profile of those people.
About 20 of them in development. We've got about 18 in development and about 12 between marketing and support. So I've got about 6 in marketing, 6 in support, and 18 in development.
Got it. Okay.
And the development includes the designers. So we have 1 designer.
Perfect. Okay. So as I mentioned to you before we started recording, you have one side of the business, which is the tool, time tracking, payments, and project management, integration. That's fine. That's great. Now, there's another side of your business as well, and I would like to explore that side a little bit here, which is Hubstaff Talent. Tell a little bit of what Hubstaff Talent is.
Yeah, so we realized that, our Hubstaff came first, which is our time tracking software. And we realized that the software would only work if you had good people to put behind it. So what we did was we just opened up a free directory, more or less, of people looking for remote work. And you can go in there, see the resumes, no requirement to use Hubstaff. It's all just free. And you just go in there, find people, and you can bring them to a competitor if you want. You can, even like I said, no requirement to use Hubstaff. But it's just it's a way for us to get, it's a way for us to tell our story. It's a way for us to help our clients when they come in. They say, well, I don't have a team. It's easy for us to say, go check out Talent. And hopefully they're going to convert into a Hubstaff customer because now they can find the people to do the job.
Got it. Okay.
Like I said, we found that, one of the big problems was, hey, this is great. I'm just starting a remote company, or my guy, I love this, but my guy's no good, or whatever, and so that's an opportunity for us to step in and say, here's Talent.
Okay. So one of the things that I did to prepare myself for this conversation, David, was to have a look at your past interviews. And I saw you talk before about Hubstaff Talent. But back then, and that was, I think, 2 years ago, it seems that you were doing more of a matchmaking type of
staffing thing. Yeah, staffing.
Right. So you moved away from that.
Yeah. We moved away from it. Yeah. I mean, it was just a matter of like our core competency is software, not staffing. And so staffing would take up a lot of my time and a lot of my effort for not a lot of ROI. And so it was a matter of just a business decision and saying it's not worth it to break up our focus. We want to just remain focused on what we do really well. And we want to go out and sell the software and go from there.
Got it. Okay. So I just want to dig a little bit deeper on Hubstaff Talent there. Mm. So I guess that you facilitate the connection, but that's it. You walk away from there, and the entire relationship is managed by them, and you don't have anything to say in that relationship.
Nope, 100% right.
Got it. And
so you find them, you contact them. Then from there, like we require that you post a job. If you're going to contact people, you got to have a job posted. So you post a job, then you can contact them, invite them to the job so that they can see because what was happening is, people would email just for an introduction, and they would just, they wouldn't have a job posted, and it would be just, the contractor will get a lot of value from that. So, so we make you post a job, and then after you post a job, then at that point, you can search and find people, invite them to the job, or people can search that job and apply to the job, and then you can manage all the applications and see all the applications and look at people. And then from there, it's all on you. There's no contracts. There's no, like I said, you don't have, you could just hire somebody and work with them over Slack and not use Hubstaff at all.
Got it. But again, and hopefully you made that connection. Hopefully at some point they can also use, Hubstaff to track.
Yeah, it's good for us. Yeah. Right. Awesome. It's good for us.
Awesome. Okay. And I'm assuming if I'm a contractor, a freelancer, an outsourcing provider, I can just come to the website, create my profile, and that's it. There's no vetting. There's nothing like that.
No, nothing like that. And you create a profile, share the link. You can use that to, when you're talking to other people, wherever on Craigslist or whatever, you share that link. A lot of people don't have a website to take people to, and so this provides that. They don't have a net website for their own personal branding opportunities. So this is a profile that they can send people to, and it looks good. The design's good. It feels nice, and they can hopefully, show off what they can do well.
Got it. Let's talk a little bit, David, about the future here. Just for a little bit. I want to touch another point, but before that, let's go to the future a little bit. Where do you see, Hubstaff going from here? Because we have this booming economy of freelancing, of people working remotely. In a way, let's go to the very cliche question, which is, what's next? What's the future of your platform?
Well, we're kind of. I mean, we're kind of there. I mean, we already believe that we have the best out there. But in terms of managing a remote team, but I mean that is what we plan on doing, is just keeping our heads down and keep on building the best platform for remote teams. It's not only going to be for remote teams. There is a time tracking component to it. So we have. But we have, we get mobile apps that have reports to the managers. We've got, we are a software first, business that focuses on trying to, help people, work remotely in a better manner, and also help people hire remotely in a better manner. And, it's just, I do believe that is the future of the market. Our software is not needed to operate a remote team, but a lot of people do like it, and or something like a product like it. But we're just trying to expand and build the best product we can.
Got it. Perfect. Okay, great.
And we're so I will say this too. We're about to release a project management software that is that is built on remote teams. So it's going to be Talent, the PM software, and then Hubstaff, the time tracking, and all those put together. So those are the three real products that we have.
Perfect. Okay, great. That's great. So that's the future of your platform. Now let's look at the market in general, because you guys run a platform that you see a lot of agencies coming along. You see a lot of contractors. Do you see any trends going on in the market overall? And again, if you don't, that's fine, but I just want to get your take on that. Do you see any trends that people should be on the lookout for? Hey, this is what is hot right now, this is what's going on. Maybe if you guys are thinking about start to provide some freelancing services, maybe this is one area that is hot and is getting hotter and hotter as we see more and more of this happening. Do you have any tips towards that direction?
No, I mean, not really. I mean, honestly, not really. I mean, it's just, I think that the main thing is people try to think about remote work as it's, I don't know, different. And it is different in a way, but I mean, myself, if I were to applying for a job, I would look at it no different than applying for a job next door. I mean, it's the same thing. It's just, you got to put out speaking for the freelancers, you got to put out your best effort on the application. You got to put out it's the same thing. You have to report for work every day, and the main thing is communicate very, very well. Both on the business owner side and the freelancer side. Is just communication is the key. But other than that, it's just the same as office jobs.
Perfect. Okay. I mean, great. Because one of my last questions is really about what is the one thing that you want people to leave this conversation knowing more about. And I think that you hit the nail there, communication. Anything else to expand on that point?
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's like I said, I think that, for me, it's always, remote work's always just come natural. I like to live my life the way I like to live it. And I don't, for me, that means, I work from home, I don't need to report to an office every day. It's just, as the owner, I don't want my employees have to do that, or my contractors, I don't want my people have to do that. So, I love remote work. And I think that, a lot of, our software is a fit for primarily small businesses. Our average team size is like, 5 to 7 people. So if you're in that space, I mean, off the savings in terms of, office overhead, in terms of being able to find people from around the world to do the same job, and the talent pool, those two things right there are for Hubstaff, we would have failed probably if we would have had to do the traditional route of going to get an office, finding a few full-time employees. That we would have failed, because both Jared and I, my co-founder and I, we built this on the side. So we were doing other jobs when we were building this out. So if we didn't have the ability to work remotely, and our people didn't have the ability to work part-time, it would have been very hard. And so we've just kind of keep on scaling that up. We're a bootstrapped company, and it's always been just slow progress, and I guess I'm just saying that without the ability to find people from around the world to come work for Hubstaff, and then without those savings in, the offices. I mean, there were several. There was a year where our expenses were less than $5,000 a year or a month. I mean, you put an office on there, and it's double, and we wouldn't have been able to do that.
Would you see a time that you think that will be required for you guys to have an office? And again, I'm just coming towards an end here, but I'm curious about that. Do you see a moment that, hey, maybe after we cross this line here, we need to have some physical presence, we need to bring people inside? Do you think that there will be a time of that, like that for you guys?
I think there's some benefit. I think there are definitely, like, we're having a retreat in Chicago, in September. First one, but we've been in business now for like 5 years, so the first one. Our team members are pushing hard for that. Some of our team members pushing pretty hard for that. So, I think there's definitely some benefit to knowing your people on a level outside of Slack or project management tools. There's definitely a benefit to that. I mean, there's a benefit to being able to know somebody's kids and being able to know their wife and like being friends with them. There is definitely a side of it that, they're going to be a better team member for your company if you have that relationship. That's no doubt about it, I think. And so that's one thing, but you can develop that in other ways. I think there's also there's like an intangible where it's kind of harder to get everybody on this. We've worked pretty hard to develop a culture and basically try to have everyone understand the mission statement and like what we're really trying to do and what we're really about, so that it flows downhill and so they can make better decisions. So if they understand that we are primarily trying to help freelancers, and people hiring freelancers to do business together better, that changes some of their decision makings and the way that they're trying to build the software, the way that they build the UI, everything. So we've worked, and it's hard to communicate that without, on a remote basis. It's almost like you've got to put out you've got to spend time on it and put out a pamphlet and try to, really make sure that everyone understands this and they even read it. You don't even know if everyone, because you can't have that in-person meeting. And so there's things like that I think are harder from a remote standpoint. So if, the question was, do I think there's a time when we'll need to bring people in? I mean, maybe we might at some point if we grow the business very successfully, and it might, but it would be more for fun, where it's like, okay, we're going to have an office. We're going to go in 2 days a week, and we're going to, what I'm saying? But that's it. That's it. Still on a small scale.
Very good, Dave. By the way, how frequently do you guys meet? I don't assume that there is a meeting with 30 people, but what is the norm on your organization of how frequently do managers meet with their teams? And tell me a little bit about that.
So we meet with our team. I mean, we talk on a weekly basis, like through chat, but on the phone, once a month, or not on the phone, but on Skype, once a month. And that's mostly to go over the previous month's numbers and KPIs.
I get it.
And on a weekly basis, it's to go over the sprint assignments, but that's mostly done over text, so that we can work kind of like, on our own time.
Got it.
But it's not, once a month, voice, like what we're doing right now. And you've got 6 people. So, and we try to do 6-month reviews. So if I've got 12 people to manage, I mean, that's still 12 conversations, and it's not, like it's like, but it's not it is part of my job to manage, but it's not, you know, this, again, the software does a lot of that for me. So my job is really about making sure that that everyone's understanding what the goals are, blueprinting the tasks to be done, you know, developing the strategy, what we're going to do next, you know, where to invest, and, you know, kind of making sure that things are being done to the level that we want them done to, you know, and that's about it.
Got it. Last point here, David.
Yep.
Anything that we haven't discussed here that you find that's relevant to mention, maybe about the tools, maybe about outsourcing in general, anything else that, you know, needs to be said about the topic?
Yeah, no, the main things are cost savings, not in the typical. To be honest, I don't really like the word outsourcing. I don't, you know what I'm saying? It's not my favorite. I don't use, I mean, I say remote team because it's kind of like, it is like the title of your podcast, you know, it's outsourced. I mean, that's what it is. So when you look at it like that, I mean, there are companies that hire, you know, we got a big company. I'm in Indianapolis. We got a big company here that, you know, you hire out teams of 100 people in a different country, and you don't get the results that you want from that endeavor, you know. But what I do is on a much smaller level than that. I mean, I've seen teams of people, you know, overseas. It doesn't happen only overseas, but, you know, they'll say it's $3,000 a month per person. And let's say they're developers. So you're going to get, you know, 20 PHP developers overseas. And it's going to be, so 20 times, you know, $60,000, or what is it? 90,000. What is that? 20 times 3, $66,000 per month. Right. But each and every person, or the majority of the people of those 20 people, I mean, they're billing you for 8 hours a day, but they have 3 clients. So that company is making, what are they doing? 3 hours of work for you, or 2.5 hours of work for you per day, and they're billing you for 8. And they have the headache of 3. So how would you ever know? I mean, that's the problem with the programming side of things too, is like most of the, you know, how would you ever know that progress is not being made fast enough? You know, on a big project like that, I mean, if you don't, how would you know that that all those people were working 8 hours a day? I mean, it's you know, I've seen it happen. It's happened to us.
I mean, I have my take on that, and I'll give my 2 cents here. I mean, even though you are the interviewee, you are the guest, but I'm gonna give my take.
Yeah, I mean, I asked a question, so yeah.
I'm gonna give my take. So I'm a developer myself, and I think that from a development point of view, you're right in the sense that if it's a big undertake, it becomes hard to see if this is what is supposed to be delivered at this time frame. But we go back to commitments, you know. So if commitments are being made and being met, I think that's really what makes sense to track. Now, that's the reason why sometimes I find a bit sometimes annoying to have the monitoring system, you know, because what really matters is, are people delivering what needs to be delivered in the time that was committed? And if not, are they communicating up front that there's a problem and this is how they are addressing it? That's really my benchmark.
You seem like a good communicator and a good guy. You know what I'm saying? I mean, and that's really the thing. So if you and it seemed and you don't, it doesn't appear that you have a team of a big team behind you that, you know what I'm saying? So if I were hiring you as a WordPress developer or whatever, like I said, I would want you to use the software, but I would not use it in a net. I would use it because I don't want the headache of having to get an invoice, having to pay the invoice, having to email. I want you to be in the team's system. You know what I'm saying? So, and it would be a fixed price project. If we want to work at it in terms of development, timelines, that's great. We've done it before several times. And I'm not, totally understand. It's just when you're dealing with when you're hiring a team of like 8 people, it becomes very hard for the manager to manage all of those different commitments because you've got different companies working for you. So let's say you've got 8 different freelancers that have different communication styles, different time zones, different Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So it's not about it's not about the again, it's not about the management and the monitoring as much as it's about I'm the business owner. It's hard for me to I need peace in my life. You know, I need the ability to like I want something to manage the system for me. And so from that side, that's where we come in.
Oh, and you're very right, David. From the sense that you know, when you put monitoring, you add one more piece to the puzzle that will help, in a way, the person that is delivering your project. It might be a coder, it might be a writer, whoever it is, but it helps them to say, hey, okay, he may or may not look at what I'm doing, but I better get things straight here because he may check or he may not check. It doesn't matter, but it's just one more check to be done through the process, you know, and it's just one more reassurance. That's it, you know.
Yeah, and we have we have mobile time tracking. There's no screenshots mobile time tracking. It's more about we pay everyone hourly, right? So it's more about like when somebody's submitting an invoice, it's hard. It's outside of the system. I want it to be done all automatic. I want to automate so I can like focus on how I'm going to grow my business, not like trying to pay invoices. I don't have an admin to do that stuff. I don't, we're just not there, so it's just like, I've got a company in New York that they do medical billing. And it's like, I'll talk to the founders of these companies and they're like, Dave, you don't understand how many hours I'm the founder of this company. And I was sitting there doing admin for 20 hours. Half my day was trying to get people to submit timesheets. Okay. So that's not a good way to run your business. That right there, getting people to submit timesheets all in the same format, all in the same, tracking so you can bill all your clients, that needs to go away. If you are a responsible founder of a company, that needs to, because it's just, you need to grow your company, right? I mean, that's the thing. So, again, I mean, that's where it is. Turn off the screenshot. That doesn't matter as much. What does matter is just the scalability of and the founders focus on growing the company, and then automating all that stuff behind the scenes.
I get it. And again, makes a lot of sense. And I really find it to be an essential tool for anyone working remotely, working with a remote team. David, I can only thank you, thank you a lot.
Thank you as well.
For your time, for your expertise, for sharing your knowledge there. Before I let you go, how can people reach out to you, whether they want to get more information or whether they want to follow you to get your content? Because I know that you write as well. I don't know if you write that much anymore, but I know that you have some content. So how can people reach out to you? Yeah,
the best place is blog.hubstaff.com, our blog. We write there a lot. I've got a growth series where I've talked about how we've grown our company up. That's really in depth and really everything, it's very in depth. We've really opened up on it. So we're a transparent company. So we just on the marketing side, financial side, everything, just totally transparent. So we share kind of everything that we do on that blog. And so that, and then, we're at Hubstaff at Twitter, and my email is david@hubstaff.com.
Perfect. Awesome. David, thank you very much. I really appreciate it. And I hope that we can catch up another time, another day in the near future. Thank you very much. Bye.
Sure. Thank you. Bye.